Welcome to the FNO InsureTech podcast, a place where movers and shakers from all points within the insurance ecosystem gather and discuss all things InsureTech. Here are your hosts, Lee Boyd and Rob Beller.
Hey, podcast world, here we are, another international edition of FNO InsureTech with your host, Lee Boyd?
Yeah.
Okay.
And our host, Rob Beller.
Yeah. Why do we have such a problem with that title?
I don't know, but I mean, we're hosts now. For some reason, your screen says host and mine says nothing. Like you, Rob Beller host, and my screen just says Lee.
Well, we use this recording platform called Riverside, and
You trying to tell me something?
And well, it says, Riverside has determined that my name should say host, and
That's right.
Your name
Other
shouldn't.
guy.
I can't.
Other guy.
What, you think I can influence that? I mean, it's probably the AI that figured it out.
You remember like 7 years ago that we had 3 hosts? What a time that was.
I do. And the third host was on like twice.
Maybe twice.
Maybe twice.
Yeah, maybe twice. It wasn't his cup of tea. He didn't.
No, in fact,
It's
we
not
can't.
that he didn't believe in it. I think he believed in it. He just didn't participate.
It's been so long that we can't even say his name anymore, Matt Fothery, right?
He was on a few times. He even had a caricature.
He did.
But I want to say we actually brought this up like 2 years. We've been on this podcast for so long. We're talking about the same thing we talked about maybe 2 years ago.
We've gone through every topic known to man.
We're out of things to talk about.
Circling back around.
Yeah. It's almost like we have to go to a different country to get new things to talk about.
It's very funny. It's very funny that you say that because guess what?
What's that, Rob?
Today, host Lee.
Yes, host Rob.
Today, we have a guest from nowhere else but London, England.
London, England. We are like becoming a London, England podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will say that I had a very small part in the origin story of Alacrity's presence in the London market. But my, not co-host, but other host.
The other guy.
Because I don't want you to think he's a co-host. He's a host. He's just the other host, has led the charge to make Alacrity's London office and presence meaningful.
It's a reality. It's a reality.
And one of the side benefits of all this is you meet a lot of really cool people.
I get to meet the neatest people. And in fact, I'm to the point now where I show up at events. I'm like, oh, I know that person. I'll go talk to them. And sure enough, I was in London last month and I was at an event. I was at the Lloyd's lab event, and Nick is across the room, and I go grab him and we talk. And sure enough, he is on the podcast today. And it's so great. It's so great to meet these people.
And tell us who is Nic Sproul?
Nic Sproul is the managing partner of SP Partners. I think he is more of just a all-encompassing great guy who likes to connect different people in different companies and help people succeed. He's involved in all sorts of things, including I Love Claims. I mean, he is just kind of a person about town and a super knowledgeable person who came from outside the industry about 20 years ago, found his way into the marketplace. And he's here today to tell us kind of his origin story and about some of the companies that he's working with.
He's a fascinating man, and his grasp of moving from startup to successful company is outstanding. And so we were thrilled and honored to have the opportunity to have Nick on.
Yep.
And we're going to share that with you because that's what we do here at FNO InsureTech. We're sharers. We're good sharers.
We gain the knowledge so we can share the knowledge.
That's
right.
what
we are. We are knowledge sharers.
We're emptying our brains.
We're like large language models. We learn it so we can share it.
Actually, isn't every person of normal intelligence, a large language model?
No, just us. Just us.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. There's
Just
nothing I
us.
can add to that, nor can I argue with my host,
That's right.
my other host, Lee Boyd, who said that we are indeed that. So without further ado, let's get to our interview with Nic Sproul, managing partner at SP Ventures. Hey, everybody. We are here with our special guest. This is another FNO InsureTech around the world. We scour the world to find the best, most intriguing, most interesting people who are from the world of insurance and InsureTech. And today, I have to say, we've done an amazingly good job by bringing Nic Sproul, managing partner at SP Partners, and really he's a man of many titles and he has a lot of balls in the air.
Yeah.
And let's just say, welcome to the podcast from London, England. It's great to have you here.
Welcome, Nic.
Yeah, real honor, Rob and Lee. And I've been looking forward to this, well, since I met Lee, to be honest. And then Israel's done a great job tuning it up. So yeah, good to get going.
Good. We are excited to have you. I met Nic. First off, we linked in many, many years ago. And over the past 6 months, my world has crossed with Nic's on online meetings. And then I ran into him last time I was in London at the Lloyd's lab presentation. It was a cohort presentation, who was going to be in next cohort. And it was just so great to see him. And Nic has been so great to give just insight into insurance in the London market, the technology and things like that. And I thought, what a great guest just to come on and just to kind of level set and tell his story. And so I'm excited you're on today, Nic. Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
Well,
happy
good.
to.
So let's jump in and give kind of a brief on what it is that you do. You're in a unique position. You sit in a unique position. Share with us what you do.
So unique's one way to put it. So I'm fortunate. I'm really fortunate to have a position that has been built over past 20 plus years to look across the whole of predominantly the property claims space, not only just in the UK but Europe as well, which we can get into. So what do I do? So I've over the past scaled a number of businesses, exited those. Last one was to AJG Gallagher. Today, I work with, I would say, in my world, companies that I think are going to make a difference in the future of property claims. Some of them are very, very early stage. Some of them are a little bit maturer. The one that we'll talk about on the Lloyd's Lab program is a little bit maturer. Probably, Rob, the best way that I can describe this is I've got an amazing job and opportunity where I work with some really talented people, and my role is to just guide them. It's to guide them with not only insurance experience but technology experience. Prior to insurance, I was heavily involved and invested in Silicon Valley for 20 years, and then I took that into our world, if you like. So it's a little bit unique in this is what you're going to face, and these are the challenges that you're going to have. And then I'm on the journey with a number of those businesses today.
And so you're not a insurance guy from the beginning, right?
No.
Didn't you?
Correct.
You found your way into this vertical, but now you live and breathe it. Why don't you give us a little insight on your journey? We're interested in the story. So tell us a little bit about your story, about how you got here today.
So if somebody asks me, what are you any good at? What is it? What's your passion? So from a very young age, it's engineering. And so if you ask, I'm an engineer, and all the way through school and college, I was passionate about engineering, in particular problem solving. So problem solving, engineering solutions, way before the sophisticated tech that we've got here today. So I've always gravitated towards solving problems. So the first part of my journey was in England, it was a very traditional engineering apprenticeship. So a 5-year engineering apprenticeship where you go through the whole kind of process of engineering, and engineering is quite broad. So my bit was mechanical, so mechanical engineering. That was my sort of speciality. And then I had a fascination with, at that time, where the best engineers in the world were working, and that was in the silicon chip industry. And so I had a personal mission to get involved in that industry. And I started, so from that point, I've worked for a number of US-based silicon chip businesses. And the last one was a business based in Fremont, California, which was a real turning point in Korea. We were the global experts in metrology, it's a bit nerdy, thin film metrology, right? I think we've touched on this thing, thin film metrology. And what I'd say so my sort of party pieces, without the company I worked for, pioneering thin film metrology, you wouldn't have an iPhone today. You probably would, right?
You probably would, but you might not.
But it may be taken a little bit longer. So great career in the Valley, and like all things, they mature. And there was a time, which was approximately 20 years ago, when the business that I was with, they were acquired, and I had an opportunity to exit it.
Okay.
And it was, for me, the time to look at something different. So this is the point in time when I discovered the world of insurance. And it's like, when I stand up at these conferences and I give this story, so people just like thinking, what, so you were like in the silicon chip industry and now you deal with property claims? What's the connection? So the connection is problem solving.
Okay.
That's the connection. And the thing that fascinates me, and tell me if I'm being long-winded, the thing that fascinates me in insurance is that there's a lot of problems to solve. So I got involved 20 years ago as a consultant, and the 20 years been a bit of all sorts.
I mean, you've been a part of different companies in that past 20 years, right?
Correct.
I mean, a few of them, at least one that I know of, involved another exit. And so tell us a little about that. Tell us a little bit about some of the ones that you were involved with.
Yeah, so I got involved in 2013 with, so in Europe, this would translate to a regional property claims management company. So from FNO all the way through to validation, just repair, settle. And it was a business that, it's sort of a mid-sized business, not doing so well. And I had an opportunity to take equity in it based on where the business was at. So I took equity in it, and then we scaled that to a reasonable size, and we sold it in 2018 to Arthur J. Gallagher. And that business became the foundation in the UK for Arthur J. Gallagher, specifically Gallagher Bassett, as you'll know, the TPA bit, as their platform to provide property claims management into the UK without using the third party. So that was great, right? It's an exit.
Always a good thing.
Always a good thing. And where I struggled, and I'm pretty sure I shared this with you, is I then went from sort of consultant, growth guy, entrepreneur, back to corporate.
Yeah.
And this is the conversation that you and I had.
Right.
And that transition was never going to be great.
Yeah.
Purely with me, nobody else. This is purely with me. So this sort of starts and ends with me. But I went through the process as you do. And, I'm very proud that GB have got something they didn't have. Yep. I was never going to be the person to have any longevity with it. if that makes sense.
Well, I mean, we always talk about how it takes builders and doers, right? Just because the people who built the product doesn't mean it's the people who need to stay with it and nurture it forever.
Exactly.
We need builders to build, and we need doers to do. And it seems like you needed a little bit of maybe some more freedom on your own to go out and decide what you wanted to do, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We always say it takes a certain kind of person to get a company to, 10 million, another kind to get it to 50 million, another kind to get it to 150 million. But it never gets to 150 million if it doesn't get
not
started.
Built. It's got to get built.
Right.
It's a great way to put it. And I think I'm a starter. I think that's probably where I'd put my position. But without a doubt, what I would say is that those early years experience working in the tech industry, and through that, I worked with a number of tech startups in the chip industry that just had an idea and worked with them all the way, through to getting initial sort of early stage funding through to really making a difference, technically speaking, in that sector. And when I came into insurance claims, which literally, I probably haven't described that. So I was a management consultant, and my third client was a property claims management company. And they said, we need some help with some sort of future strategy around this particular problem. So that's how I got involved. So I didn't know, I'll tell you this, I'd never heard of a loss adjuster.
Okay.
I didn't know what one was.
No idea.
No idea. And now I probably know most of them in the UK.
I'm about to say, it's what a different world you're in now than you were then.
Don't you run an organization called I Love Claims?
So I don't run it. So I Love Claims, let me bring that to life. So
yeah, I'd love to hear more about I Love Claims.
A descriptive name.
Yeah, super successful. So the guy that founded that is a guy called Chris Ashworth. So Chris Ashworth, again, very successful in the UK. He's motor, so specifically motor. He came up with the idea of I Love Claims. I got involved with Chris 10 years ago. And what we do is, or the purpose of I Love Claims is to provide a platform for collaboration. Now then, I'm going to be really careful. Not careful. No, I'm not going to be careful. I'm not a careful person. Collaboration is an overused word.
Yes.
Yes. It's kind of, it's overused word. Like
partnership.
Yeah.
Synergies.
Overused.
All of that. So I'll actually pay a $1 to both of you for using it, because that's a fine. But we've provided an open forum, is probably a better way to put it, for insurers and suppliers to come together to talk about their stuff. And it's grown year on year. And now we've grown it to motor, property, MGA, so London market, and tech.
Wow.
And so there's four sort of strands to it. And it's the largest claims-focused networking event in the UK, probably in Europe, to be fair. It's the go-to event. And there's two parts to it. We have a massive charity part. We've raised over $2 million for a children's charity called Rainbow Trust, which I ran the London Marathon for Rainbow Trust.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well, let me just caveat that. I didn't run all the way.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes life happens.
Yeah. You said you're a starter. Okay. So
you're a starter. What can we expect?
Yeah. So there's a really good element of it, and it's there isn't anything else. You've got your normal, the more commercial event companies. So in the UK, you've got Incisive Media, Post Magazine, those sort of events. But ILC, it's a little bit different, and we're quite sort of focused on those events.
we need to have something like that in the United States. That'd be a great thing.
So let me, without
Which
break
I'd like to
money,
announce. No.
No. Without breaking any. That was explored. Probably people that you know.
Probably.
Probably.
It could have happened, and we've got absolutely the formula to make it work, but it wasn't the right time. That's the best way to put it. It wasn't the right time. I think, Rob, when you're over in January, I think it would be a great. Well, January, just so you know. So January is one of the flagship events of ILC. So it's the motor networking lunch. Every insurer and claims person is at that event. And this year it's in Park Lane.
We'll try to be there for that if we can invite ourselves like this.
Yeah. Yeah, if we can invite ourselves to it. Well, why don't we do this? I want to hear more. I want to hear more about what you're currently doing. As you said, you're a starter, right? I know that you're involved with multiple companies who are doing some really amazing things. One that I heard about there at the Lloyd's lab announcements the other day. Why don't you spend a little time? I'll let you direct wherever you want to go on this, but tell us about some of the work you're doing and some of the work that the companies are doing that they're asking your advice on. So if you'd be so willing.
So I must admit, I thought about this. I'm going to go back in time and then bring it us forwards, because I was talking to Mrs. Sproul about. She said, "What are you going to talk about?" And I said, "I think I'm going to share this." So several years ago, quite a few, I was asked by one of the largest carriers in the UK to do a presentation of my choice to their whole claims team. So claims, procurement, supply chain, etc. Approximately 300 people. Our numbers are always smaller than your numbers because we're just an island, right? And I was encouraged to do something very, very out there. And I've always been looking to the future. That's my passion. What's coming down? Engineering. What's coming down the tracks? What's going to change? So I presented this. I presented digital twins, and I'll do it really, really quickly. But basically, what I said is the future in our world is that our interactions with the claimant, with the customer, is going to change. In the future, this will be such a basic commodity that future human will have their, if you like, avatar. I called it digital twin, that will deal with that claim. They will be your interaction. They will be the person that you will interact with to resolve whatever that claim is. And then I did this presentation, and I'm not kidding you, I pretty much got marched out of the room.
Sure.
Yeah, I pretty much, and I'm not going to mention the insurance.
Well, why? Why did that happen? What was it that you said that touched a nerve?
So I think it was that a lot of people in the room feared that was the end of their career.
Exactly.
That's what I felt. And it taught me a lesson, because I didn't want, I didn't feel good about that. I didn't want to be the person that was saying that. That
you didn't want to be the
purpose.
messenger of doom.
No, it wasn't the purpose. But it taught me, it taught me a lesson. But it is the sort of, the reality bringing right up. So I'll get to the point, Ray. Trust me, I will. I'm seeing that right now today with the work that I'm doing. I'm not seeing skilled people's jobs being replaced anytime soon.
Right.
Actually, anytime soon is what I would say. What I'm seeing is some tools to make them more efficient and more accurate. That's what I'm seeing.
Right.
And ultimately, what that will mean is a better outcome for the customer. So better retention and all the rest of it. Faster and all that. So I've started with where I went wrong, if you like, back then. And again, Rob, I'm watching the clock, so don't worry, but I've got to share this with you. I've got to share this because this is, these things are meant to be funny. A few years ago, through Isle of Claims, we did a session in Shoreditch. So if you don't know London, Shoreditch is the cool sort of hipster future technology startup place. And we did an event and we invited a futurologist, a guy called Richard Watson. Richard Watson works for Cambridge University, Oxford University, and he's a futurologist. He can talk about stuff that may or may not happen, which is brilliant. I mean, I wanted his job.
What a great job.
I wanted his job. So he did this presentation and he was talking about sort of time travel and Star Trek and all that sort of stuff. And I had to come on after him and talk about where we're at right now.
That's tough.
In claims, right?
Yeah.
So we're in Shoreditch. Shoreditch is the hipster part of London where all the techies are. And so this was the icebreaker. I had jeans on, a white T-shirt and a jacket. And I just said, if you're wondering why I'm dressed like this, I used ChatGPT and I said, 50 plus, Shoreditch presentation, what should I wear? And it told me to wear this. So that was the icebreaker, and then Richard Watson, who was just super cool. But yeah, just bringing that into the present day. So let's touch on Lloyd's Lab.
Yeah.
So Lloyd's Lab, and I'm super passionate about this. One of the categories for cohort 15, which is the one that we've been successful with, is emerging challenges. And so emerging challenges in brackets, environmental. And so that was quite broad, but they did specify one of the concerns for the Lloyd's market is the issue of forever chemicals. Forever chemicals, PFAS as a term, and what that actually means. And there's a lot out there. There's a lot going on in the US about this. Europe is I'd say, starting to wake up is probably what I'd say with it. And it's liability, risk, where does it sit, who owns it, what does it mean, what does it look like? We haven't got a clue. You know, what's the cancer effect? What's this effect? What's any effect? So we've pitched Europe's first PFAS risk AI model.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing this. No pressure. We've got 10 weeks to deliver it.
No pressure. It was a great presentation that the group did.
Yeah. No, Duncan and Ben, really good guys. I mean, obviously Duncan, 35 years, environmentalist, and Ben is the data guy. And I'm the guy, so to pick up on what you asked is, so what's my role? My role is to support them through the program and hopefully at the end of it to be supported by one or two organizations that want to fund what next. That's pretty much where we're at. If we don't achieve that, then we'll set up a new co and we'll take that new co to market. And there's a ton of interest. A ton of interest. But it's an interesting one because right now that risk isn't written. It's not written. So you could argue, why are Lloyd's bothered? It's emerging. It's emerging as a risk. And at some point, you know, if you go back to the origins of insurance, if you go back to the origins of where the Lloyd's market started, there's a social element. We need to be aware of this. We need, as an industry, we need to be alive to it. And so that's the PFAS risk.
Well, and what an honor to be selected to be a part of the cohort. I mean, to be able to spend 10 weeks in the Lloyd's lab, surrounded by the Lloyd's marketplace. What an honor. I think that's great. So congratulations on that.
I pinch myself and just going back to, you know, started in the tech sector, came into insurance. And if you'd said to me 20 years ago, you will support a business and get into certainly Europe's fastest InsureTech accelerator program that exists, then yeah, I'd just take.
Well, I think your journey has gone just great. I mean, it's really just me and you were talking earlier about being in the Lloyd's building and being a part of the market and how it's To some of us, it's this epicenter of insurance, and it's such this amazing thing. I know people in the market might take it for granted at times, but it for the insurance nerds of the world, that is the epicenter of insurance. And to be a part and to walk through that floor, it's an amazing time, and it'll be great for the group. So congratulations.
No place like it in the United States. I mean,
Oh, no.
considering that we're the largest, insurance market in the world, there's no place like Lloyd's.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. But there's a number of other projects. I'm working with a French company as well called WeatherMind, who I'm really excited about, and they we're having some really detailed, interesting conversations. So they're an AI agent business for subsidence, escape of water, flood, fire. I'm passionate, and the tech guys are, I don't know, they remind me of being back in Silicon Valley. They remind me of those scientists that I worked with, and I got excited about that back then, and this has excited me again. So
That's great.
So where we're at, we've done 2 raises. We'll do another raise Q1 next year. Looks good. Good traction in France and good traction in the UK.
That's wonderful. Well, we're coming up close to time here on this, Nic. Any others you want to hit before we wrap up our podcast and tell us about what's going on?
Really passionate about another project using satellite data.
What's going on with that
working
one?
with the UK space industry, which is emerging. So the cost of satellite data is coming down. Before it was just off the scale.
Right.
So it's coming into our world. It's still a bit expensive, but it will come down as more adopters use it. So in Europe, big infrastructure companies, rail networks, utility companies, etc., they're using more and more satellite data to figure out where they've got problems ahead. I'm working with a company called Optira, and they're using satellite data right now to determine structural loss.
Wow.
So I don't know if this translates in the US, but we call it subsidence here. So it's when the substructure or the foundations of a building have been compromised and the building moves and it causes damage. Historically, that would have taken between 6 months and 24 months to determine what's happening.
Sure.
With the use of satellite data, that can be accelerated to around about 3 months.
Wow.
So the cost is still high, but I'm excited about it. So going back to what I said earlier about working on things that will ultimately be game changers, that's another one.
Well, it seems like all those that you talked about are some pretty amazing things that you're working on. And I know that there's more that you're working on as well. And I'm excited. I think that technology continues to grow at such a rapid pace that some of the things that weren't possible years ago are now becoming possible.
Yeah.
And it excites us. I think it's very exciting.
Of course, satellite data is becoming more abundant.
Yeah.
And therefore driving the cost down. But the accuracy and the detail of satellite data surpasses probably anything, that can compare to it. And so to apply that into the insurance vertical makes great sense. The question is where's the best place, where's its highest value?
Yeah.
But that's great stuff. Now, was that a Lloyd's lab or organization?
No, that's outside of Lloyd's lab. It's actually a spin out from a university. But again, it's not unique. There are a number of companies doing this, and I know there's companies in the US doing this. So I think it's partnering with the ones that are going to ultimately be able to provide the data. It's ultimately the data at the right price point. If the price point isn't there, none of us can sell it into the insurance space.
Right.
We can't sell it.
Right.
Right. Got to have the price point.
Right. Because I mean, and that's not to say that insurers are cheap. They're just value driven.
Absolutely.
And I mean, they have lots of places where money needs to be spent, and you have to, you're going to make it, if you're, as somebody who's sold into the insurance vertical for a long time, if you're going to make it expensive, you're going to make it hard for the decision maker to go forward with your product.
Exactly.
Unless they can fit it into their budget.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so let me ask you this as we close. You're a wise person. You've had a broad range of experience with a broad range of companies.
Replay that to Mrs. Sproul because
That's right. Hold on, so let me go get her real quick.
Yeah, well, you don't know this, Nick, but our next podcast is with your wife. So
that's right. She'll tell us the truth.
So then that's when we're going to get the real story. But just take a final minute and give your advice to an upcoming startup in the space that we're in about anything that you think would be helpful for them.
So I'd say really be clear on the problem that you're trying to solve and own the problem that you're trying to solve. I see a lot of startups think that they're trying to solve the problem that is the big problem, and they're not. And you have to sit down, ultimately, in my world, there's one of our bigger insurers, and they'll say to me, if it doesn't get on the board, and the board is that it has to demonstrate very quickly a return on investment of X, we're not interested. So we can all have fancy ideas about what the issues and problems are. So for me, if I was advising any startup now, it would be focus on high frequency, low value claims and deal with them quickly and efficiently and accurately. That's what I'd say.
Awesome.
That's great.
That's a great one. So listen, thank you. I think that's so dead on. I really appreciate it. And just last thing, we'll see you in January.
Yes.
We'll see you in January.
I look forward
either way.
to meeting that general manager that you brought up.
Having a good time.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah,
thanks for
no,
being
look
on,
forward to
Nick.
it.
Really, really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see you in person.
Brilliant. Cheers, guys.
The thing that's coming to my mind, it's not the perfect expression, but the more things change, the more they stay the same. And so here you are working in the London market and basically, moving towards international. And what's so fascinating is that the issues, the ideas are the same issues and ideas that we're talking about here in the United States. Right?
They are.
The languages might be different. The borders might be different. The construction might be different, but the problems
are the same.
Universal. Yeah.
And everyone's trying to solve them and everyone has to deal with them, but it is all the same and technology is moving forward. And I tell you what else is the same. There's great people in this world. And there's great people in the vertical of insurance. And I have been so fortunate to get to know many of them. For my path to cross with Nick numerous times, I'm just a lucky guy to have somebody like that if I go over to London and I'm driving in a car and my tire is flat, I know somebody I could call.
Yeah.
And he'd run over. He can't run the whole way. He might walk some, but he'll run over to me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks to Nick.
Thanks,
Nic Sproul. Great episode. Thanks to all of you for listening. Thanks to our production staff for being the hard workers. And thanks to you most especially for listening to another episode of FNO InsureTech. And until next time,
Goodbye, everybody.